Trump said, I will absolutely show you the Epstein files. Then they showed him the files. He said, bitch, is that my name? You got me fucked up. You better. He spoke with the president of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. My whole brain scrambled.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side.
Katt Williams was right once again, and this time he didn't just speak truth, he ripped the veil off Hollywood's carefully curated facade. He exposed celebrities acting boldly right in front of our eyes, and now with the Epstein files finally out, the scale of who's truly in trouble is terrifying, even those you swore were innocent and harmless. When Katt appeared on Club Shay Shay, it wasn't just a casual interview, it was a floodgate opening, a cinematic unraveling of the elite's hidden world, and from the way he's moving, it's clear he isn't slowing down anytime soon. Let's start with our motivational speaker, our self-made millionaire, Bill Gates. Bill Gates has long presented himself as a technologist and philanthropist, but the Epstein files reveal a far more tangled story. On national television, he claimed he only dined with Epstein, but the files paint a darker, more intimate picture. Close friendship, regular trips to Epstein's island, and emails where Gates begged Epstein for antibiotics to secretly give.
Apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. It just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that. It's actually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior. Apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there.
You guys, Trump is not the only powerful man implicated in today's Epstein file drop. There's also a very troubling allegation against billionaire Bill Gates. And what's crazy is it comes straight from Epstein himself, who said that Bill Gates got STDs from Russian escorts and then asked Epstein for help getting antibiotics he could secretly slip to his wife Melinda without her knowing. So this is an email Epstein sent in the middle of his fallout with Bill Gates. He said, "To add insult to the injury, you then implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis." And then in a follow-up email, Epstein wrote, "From helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments." After reading that, my heart just breaks.
Melinda after catching an STD from Russian women. The fallout was dramatic. By 2021, Melinda divorced him, walking away with over $29.6 billion, exposing a personal betrayal layered on top of this public scandal.
I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It was awful.
We knew that part of the reason Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates was because he was on Epstein Island. But the new Epstein file allege that Epstein contacted Bill Gates and let him know that he got an STD from the sex workers that he'd slept with on the island. And then Bill Gates was trying to secretly give medication to Melinda to cure the STD without telling her that he gave it to her. They were married for 27 years. She deserves every penny she got in that divorce.
Chris Tucker's name also appears embedded in flight logs from 2002. The official story, a humanitarian mission to Africa focused on AIDS awareness alongside Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. But leaked photos of him at Epstein's mansion show a man too comfortable, too familiar with the setting to feign ignorance. Even when confronted, Tucker's nervous stuttering betrayed him.
Chris Tucker went viral for being in the Epstein photos and on the list, and he explained the pictures.
And I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and yeah, I met him, and you know, you don't know people, what they do in their private lives. So,
right.
Yeah.
But can't tell me this, Chris. He was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, was this Lolita Express?
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
Wow.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No.
All right, bet. There we go.
I don't know where that thing at.
Now, Chris Tucker probably wasn't on that island. I want to hear Will Smith say the same thing. I just got some doubts about Will Smith. But shout out to Chris Tucker for taking accountability and talking about this, because he could have just ignored it. What y'all think, man? Y'all think Tucker is guilty? I don't think he was, because there's a lot of people implicated that were innocent. There was a lot of people that were guilty that were removed.
The truth is, Katt Williams had called this one years ago, but people dismissed him as jealous. In hindsight, he was simply ahead of the curve. In January 2024, on Club Shay Shay, Katt revisited Chris, hinting at a changed man and a Hollywood world still steeped in darkness.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord. You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Now, I did. You know, we flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa.
Yeah.
And I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on. And, you know, you don't know people, what they do in their private lives, so.
You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at.
Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither.
And Katt didn't stop there. He turned his spotlight onto Ashton Kutcher and Nick Cannon. Ashton, notorious for running with some of the industry's darkest figures, has a record of sketchy behavior, associating with alleged predators, attending debauched parties, and even founding anti-trafficking initiatives that some now speculate were clever fronts for darker dealings. In 2023, his effort to exonerate Danny Masterson through character letters leaked, revealing a man willing to shield friends accused of heinous crimes.
We have a new blind item about Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. The current wife of this former A-list, mostly television actor from multiple hit shows has moved into a different property they own. She wants distance when the videos, including him, start to leak. And there are several media outlets questioning whether this couple is getting a divorce. This all comes after a resurfaced video of Ashton Kutcher in 2019 talking about Diddy's freak-off parties.
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
Feel like, well, we still have some time to go, you know, I can blow it here.
Okay. Feel free. Diddy party stories, man. That was like some weird memory lane. Ugh.
First Danny Masterson, now P. Diddy. And it was just this past weekend that articles were saying that Ashton and Mila had taken their kids on separate outings in LA after the controversial Diddy clip resurfaced. And this brings me to Ashton Kutcher's anti-trafficking not-for-profit. I can't help but wonder now if this was all just a way for him to have easy access to people. And back in September of 2023, he did resign, and that came after he got a lot of backlash over Danny Masterson. Just remember that Mila Kunis also wrote letters for Danny. Birds of a feather flock together.
Nick Cannon, while never spotted on Epstein's island, validated Katt's claims, admitting he once doubted the rumors, but now refuses to excuse the actions of these billionaires. Speculation even swirls around Cannon's multiple children and whether there's a hidden ritualistic angle.
And then like even like that freaky weird pedophile shit that be going on, like you hear about it, but it's dark and demonic energy that this industry was built on, and people manipulate young women, they manipulate kids, and at the end of the day, it's all for the dollar and all to feed their ego. So I've seen some shit where you're like, that's just not right. Like, that person shouldn't be talking to that person. That person shouldn't be.
An unsettling layer to an already complex scandal. Social media reactions echo the unease. One person noted the real terror of the Epstein files isn't the names exposed, but how many remain untouchable. Another observed the silence of celebrities who speak loudly on every other issue but remain mute here. Take Jay-Z, for instance. Named by an anonymous victim, his incrimination was met with disbelief. How could a rapper just breaking into Hollywood in 1996 be involved, yet the victim's account paints a chilling scene. She woke in a room with Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z, Weinstein violating her, and allegedly Pusha T facilitating the nightmare. The defense that Jay was too new in the industry barely scratches the surface. Connections don't require fame, ambition, and access do, and by 1996, Jay was strategically moving within elite circles. Videos even exist showing Weinstein almost acting as a handler for him. Rewatch that footage and tell me it doesn't look like Jay-Z is being guided by a powerful hand.
Why y'all didn't tell me Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein were this close?
Your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement?
So this was in 2017. The reporter asked Jay-Z about his thoughts on Donald Trump, and Harvey Weinstein immediately jumps in and says, no. This is my friend. We're not going to involve him. Jay-Z visibly looked like distressed, like he did not want to talk about Donald Trump. He even said that. He said, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. Why are you doing all that? And like, I get it. A lot of people wanted to steer clear of Trump back then because he had the whole MAGA movement. He had just won the election. And he had a lot of support behind him from those people. Maybe Jay-Z was just like, I'm making a business decision to protect myself, my wealth, my family, to not say anything negative about Trump. But that's not the image we've always pictured when it comes to like Jay-Z. Like, we've always looked at Jay-Z as being someone who stands on business, being someone who sticks up for the black community, being that person in the room that's just as powerful as those other people in the room. That's the image we've always had of Jay-Z, right? Like, am I tripping by saying that? I feel like that's what we've always looked at Jay-Z as. It's like he has been just as powerful as these other people in the room, to where he can move and do and say how he wants to because he's just as powerful as they are. But that's a good thing because he's on our side, right? Like, he's one of us. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein and his cronies even admired the way Jay-Z handled business and his business model, because there's an email in the Epstein files where someone sends Jeffrey Epstein an email of Jay-Z's business model and says, very clever. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff redacted there. What is that about? What's the redacted information there? But in this situation, instead of him being able to say what it is that he wanted to say and how he truly feels, I mean, maybe he don't feel like that, but instead of him being able to say what we, the people, wanted him to say, he was like, I'm not going to talk about that. And now, knowing what we know about Harvey Weinstein and his connection to Epstein and Donald Trump and all of that stuff, knowing what we know now about him and seeing how he immediately stepped in, called him his friend, didn't want him to talk about it, it's just a little suspect. Well, what do you mean by that? I also just found out that Jay-Z signed a massive first look deal with the Weinstein Company, and Harvey Weinstein was behind the making of Time, the Khalid Browder story that Jay-Z did, that documentary, and then also that Trayvon Martin series that he did. He was behind those. And I don't know, maybe we all owe Damon Dash an apology, because Damon Dash been talking greasy about Jay-Z and also Harvey Weinstein for a long time now. And then to learn that Damon Dash actually smacked the shit out of Harvey Weinstein back when they were filming.
Things only darkened from there. Multiple explicit videos and photos surfaced. One too graphic to share here, but available on Twitter, depicts Jay-Z in a room with another man while two street workers perform sexual acts for their amusement. Another shows him alongside Weinstein at Diddy's 29th birthday party. Even Kanye's 2018 expose resurfaced, proving proving that the accusations and insights he shared still ring true. On top of that, a comedian went as far as accusing not only Jay-Z, but Beyonce of ritualistic involvement, a claim that only adds layers to the intrigue. But Jay-Z wasn't alone. Katt Williams had already started pointing fingers at a slew of celebrities, and the files now confirm much of what he revealed. Naomi Campbell is another glaring name. According to flight logs, she boarded Epstein's infamous Lolita Express 5 times between 2001 and 2003, with trips originating in the U.S. Virgin Islands and even Sao Paulo, Brazil. The files contain emails hinting at her and Epstein conspiring over record shipments tied to his debauched parties. Footage of her recruiting models went viral, with whispers that these were merely covers to funnel more women into Epstein's orbit. The pattern is chilling, the veil of glamour hiding a world of manipulation and exploitation. People are absolutely furious. One viewer said, "The scariest part isn't just the names, it's how normalized all this secrecy was. Makes you wonder how deep this goes in Hollywood." Another commented, "I can't believe people still defend these celebrities like they're untouchable. The files make it clear no one is above the law." And yet another wrote, "Katt Williams has been speaking out about this for years and nobody listened. Now the proof is finally here and it's horrifying." What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kayla Knows for more eye-opening content.